Hello and welcome to Mary's Nutrition Show, coming to you live from Seattle, Washington. Our mission here is to help you look better, feel better, and live better one meal at a time. This episode, Sleep Better, Dietary and Lifestyle Tips. Now here's your host, Integrative Registered Dietitian, Mary Purdy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mary's Nutrition Show. I'm here in Seattle where it is super rainy and chilly outside, a perfect night for a wonderfully warm, delicious night of sleep. I would like to introduce the man behind the camera, Keith Hitchcock of Hocus Pocus Media.
Hello, I'm right over here, and I would like to remind everyone and welcome them at the same time to our new fall schedule. We're going live on Mondays, the first and third Monday of the month, and rest assured we will be giving you content weekly, but just going live on those two nights, first and third Mondays, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Yes, and tonight is our sleep episode. I will be talking about dietary strategies for better sleep, and I will be talking about lifestyle strategies for better sleeps. Now, you are going to want to stick around for part one, where I talk about dietary strategies, because I'm going to be talking about a very, very simple tea that you can incorporate into your evening routine. And you are going to want to stick around for my lifestyle strategies for better sleeps, because I'm going to be telling you why it might not be the best idea to watch that favorite TV show right before bed.
Hey, if you listen to our audio podcast version of this, you will get to hear the real theme music and not me just singing it.
And it's lovely. And please note that you should consult your doctor or registered dietitian before taking any of the advice on tonight's show. And if you would also please note that the discussion tonight is not reflective necessarily of any of the organizations with whom I associate. Thank you.
Okay, hey, please join the conversation. If you are watching live, you can comment, you can ask questions, and you can do all those Facebooky things like and share and comment and all those fun things. And we love that. It's so fun. We will do our best to respond to each and every comment or question. So, FYI, there will be a Q&A section later on. So if you have those questions bubbling up in you, yes, just know that that is coming.
They don't need to bubble for naught. You can get them out and speak them truly, and we will answer them as best we can.
Mary,
yes.
Last live episode, we had a 3-part what to eat before, during, and after your workout series. You had 3 different nutrition challenges.
Yes, and I'm very curious, how did you all do? Did you notice anything about how the strategies that I talked about helped boost your workout or your recovery? Let us know.
If you tried, just drop us a comment. We want to hear, whether that's now or later. We'd really love to hear how those little tips did for you.
Yes.
So, but we have a comment of the week section.
Comment of the week. Comment of the week.
So Emancipation Fitness, she chimed in on YouTube, which is a great place to leave comments and questions.
Thank you, Emancipation Fitness.
She said, "Great job, Mary. As a personal trainer, I provide the same information to my clients." She's referring to the what to eat before, during, and after the workout.
Excellent.
So we got an endorsement there from a fitness professional.
A personal trainer, thank you.
She says, "I also want to share that for those who are eating a protein-rich diet, you will likely need extra water for hydration. It's believed that the body requires more water to flush out nitrogen, a waste product from protein consumption."
Thank you for that extra tip. That's absolutely true. So that's important for people to note.
Yeah, and very helpful. This is the power of comments and the power of questions out there. So thank you for chiming in, Emancipation Fitness.
Thank you. Chime in some more.
And now, for your main course, part 1.
Are you hungry? Are you hungry for that main course, Keith?
Oh, I'm hungry.
All right, well, I have some information for you. How many hours of sleep do you think the typical American gets?
Well, I'll bet it's not enough.
It's 6.5 hours a night. Do you know what that means?
that they're not getting enough sleep.
Well, that means that there are some people who are probably only getting 4 hours a night. And yes, that is not enough sleep.
How much is enough?
Well, good question. The
you.
National Institute of Health, the Mayo Clinic, and the National Sleep Foundation all recommend between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Yeah. And I know there's going to be people out there who are going to say, I don't need to sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sleeping is overrated. Well, again, everyone is individual, but I do want to make sure that you know that sleep is an absolutely essential part of life. We as humans need our rest. While we're sleeping, this is when our bodies are repairing. We are repairing our blood vessels, our muscles, our brain is repairing. And in fact, throughout the night, our brain is consolidating memories. So we are able to understand what the heck we learned the day before, what the heck we did the day before. It's absolutely essential that we get those hours of these.
Wow. Tell me, what is consolidating memories?
Essentially, it means the things that you learned the day before, whether it was how to drive, tie your shoe, how to get from the Whole Foods to back home, that memory is being consolidated as you sleep. That's a process that happens in your brain. So you need that. Otherwise, you might be a little forgetful. And there are actually, there's major health issues that are also associated with sleep deficiency.
Really?
Yep.
Like what?
Like heart disease, diabetes, obesity, higher levels of inflammation, Alzheimer's disease, mood disorders, hormone imbalance. Do I need to go on?
Well, you might as well just say all health conditions that you can imagine are affected by sleep.
It's pretty true. I mean, even your immune system, demands sleep for it to work properly. So you can be sure that if you're not getting sleep, that's going to compromise your immune system. But yeah.
We are putting together a quick start nutrition guide, and Mary has included sleep on this. The guide is one of the top 7 tips. I just gave away one of the tips, but
it's foundational.
Yeah, but the way you're talking about it, you make it sleep sound more important than exercise.
I think it is. I think if you don't sleep, you're not going to exercise, right? You're not going to have the energy to exercise. If you don't sleep, you're not going to have the ability to make decisions around your diet. If you don't sleep, you're not going to be able to be a productive human being. So it really has exponential effects.
Okay, now I know that it's important. What do I do?
Well, here's the other thing, too, that you should know. It's not just important for heart disease and diabetes. That doesn't land for everybody. But I'll tell you what you feel when you don't sleep. You feel tired. Nobody likes feeling tired. You feel groggy. You can't concentrate.
It's awful.
It's awful. Have you ever been irritable after a poor night of sleep?
I have.
I know. And I know that I have. You know that I have.
I know.
So you also are more hungry after a poor night's sleep because actually the hormones leptin, which makes you feel full, is lowered when you have a sleep deficit. So you don't feel full, and the hormone ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes you feel hungry, is elevated when you haven't slept. So you're more hungry after a night of sleep deficit. So it really has a lot of implications on your health. But we have tips for you. If you are truly struggling with your sleep, I urge you to see a sleep specialist. Go talk to somebody, find out what might be going on, because there could be something serious and you need to address it. But if you're struggling with sleep on a fairly regular basis and you want some tips and some ideas, that's what we're here for. Full disclosure, I myself, Keith knows this, have struggled with sleep. Do you see these bags under my eyes?
No.
It's because I have makeup on. No, I have struggled over a number of years with sleep. So I've done a lot of research and soul searching about what can be helpful. I want to start with those dietary tips. Are we ready?
Yes, and just to reiterate, these tips are always just scratching the surface of what the possible tips and tricks out there. So, but these are the biggest, best ones, right? These
are some of the biggest and best ones that I feel like are appropriate. But again, working with a practitioner to tailor and personalize the recommendations that are best for you is really part of the process. So these are just some ideas that I came up with, and I hope that you'll find them helpful. So, tip number 1. Caffeine/stimulants. This is often the low-hanging fruit. You might be having trouble sleeping because your body is having trouble getting rid of the caffeine that you have consumed that day. So it might be worth a try to stop having caffeine at a certain hour. Maybe it's 4 o'clock, maybe it's 2 o'clock, maybe it's 12 o'clock. Maybe you try a day with 0 caffeine. Stop screaming. I know it can be hard, but give your body a chance to see if that is one of the issues, because it can be a stimulant. And there are certain people who don't metabolize caffeine that well. I am one of them. Oh, it's so sad. I have to stop drinking green tea at 1 p.m. But chocolate is another stimulant for some people that also has caffeine and other stimulants inside of it that may provide an additional oomph that your body doesn't need when it's trying to begin to settle down. So see what you can do about reducing caffeine and see if that helps.
Oh boy, Mary, we are in the coffee capital of the world, and you're asking people to cut back on coffee. Whatever are they going to do?
Well, I think we can start off by cutting back so that people don't feel traumatized. But there are many other wonderful beverages out there. Tea is a lot lower in caffeine. And then there are beverages that have a coffee-like flavor. I love roasted dandelion tea. You've tried this before and you love it too.
Yeah.
Really flavorful.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's not coffee the same way that Boston's not New York, but Boston's a great city. So give it a try and see if it's something that you enjoy.
There's that chicory stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's different companies that make this stuff.
All different kinds of companies that make teas that are meant to be coffee substitutes, and very often chicory is one of the ingredients. So tea chino is another coffee substitute that you can try. But peruse that tea aisle and see if there's something that you're willing to replace your coffee with, and just do an experiment to see if it helps.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Point number 2. Alcohol. And once again, this can be tough for people who enjoy their red wine with dinner, or their bit of scotch after dinner, or whatever the case may be. But alcohol is actually very disruptive to sleep. Many people try alcohol because they feel like, I will calm down. I will be able to sleep when I have my cup of wine, or my glass of wine. And for many people, that is true. It can help you get to sleep, but it doesn't give you a good, solid sleep and can often wake you up in the middle of the night. It also prevents you from having REM sleep, which is the sleep that's the most restorative sleep. That's when you do a lot of that repair and memory consolidation. So when you wake up from a night of alcohol binging, or even just slight alcohol consumption, you might not feel quite as good as you would if you hadn't consumed it. So again, something to consider. If you're drinking 3 glasses of wine, maybe cut back to 2, maybe cut back to 1, maybe try a few nights without the wine and see how you sleep.
Okay, we may not be the alcohol capital of the world,
That's
but
true.
Can you give us some alternatives to the old alcohol?
Yes, I promised at the beginning of the show that I would talk with you about a tea that might be helpful. Now, I know tea is nothing compared to a Merlot, but it's something to try. Chamomile tea is also not just a lovely herbal tea, but it can act as a nervine tonic to help calm your nerves, and can be something to have before bed to just set you up for a successful sleep. So put it in a wine glass. I don't care. Put it in a what's that called? The thing that the martini shaker.
I don't know.
It's a sifter. A sifter?
If you know what it's
Clearly
called
we're big
out
drinkers
there,
over here.
let us know.
Let us know. Drop a line. Let us know more about the alcohol accoutrements that we need to know about.
We need to become better drinkers.
Clearly. We've been having way too much chamomile tea. We are, in fact, teetotalers. Okay. Point number 3?
Yep.
Okay. Point number 3 is, I need to check my point number 3. Ah, yes. I had a mnemonic device here. 3 square meals. It is important to eat. Maybe you don't have 3 meals a day, but it is important to have balanced meals throughout the day. That means having some protein, having some carbohydrate in the form of a fiber-rich carbohydrate, and having some fat. This keeps blood sugar balanced and also ensures that you are getting sufficient calories throughout the day. If you are not getting enough calories, that can have an impact on your sleep. Yes, it can. And conversely, if you are getting too many calories, particularly at night. If you are having a huge meal at night, that can also rub your tummy the wrong way.
That's happened to me.
I remember.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So you might go to bed feeling, "Ugh," and that makes it hard to fall asleep. Or you might go to bed feeling like, I'm starving, and that wakes you up. So it's about finding that balance. My suggestion is to not eat more than 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. Am I saying that correctly? To wait around, make sure that you haven't eaten for 3 or 4 hours before you go to sleep. And the same thing with beverages. I did say to drink some chamomile tea earlier, but it can be helpful to not consume huge amounts of liquid before bed. Why? Well, not that liquid is bad for you. It's that your bladder might be the thing that's waking you up. And sometimes when we've woken up to go to the bathroom, it's tough to get back to sleep.
That's happened to me too.
A lot of these things have happened to you.
That is true. I'm
This
like
show
that.
is basically for you. Should I just turn my attention to you over here? The rest of the show is for Keith.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay.
No, talk to them.
Oh,
Talk to
okay.
them.
All right, I'm back. Point number 4, our last point. Magnesium. Magnesium is an important mineral that is helpful for sleep regulation. So it is known to relax the body. It is helpful for muscle relaxation. It's got a role in 300 other enzymatic reactions in the body, but it's helpful for sleep. We find magnesium in our dark leafy greens, always a good excuse to get more. Our beans, well, hello beans, more excuses for more beans. And our nuts and our seeds. See our nut and seed episode up here. Look at me plugging our old episodes. But magnesium can be very helpful. So it's essential that you get enough magnesium throughout the day. And there's been some good research, actually, both recently and in the past, that taking magnesium supplements can be helpful for sleep. I recommend the form magnesium glycinate as opposed to magnesium citrate, citrate. Magnesium citrate has more of an impact on the muscles, and that can affect the muscles of your bowels, which might mean that things are a little bit looser. But great to start off with 200 milligrams of magnesium glycinate. See how that works for your body, if it helps with sleep, and you can move up from there. Again, working with a practitioner on this so you are getting the right amount for you is really helpful. But magnesium is marvelous. There we go.
So nice. Magnesium. That's a miracle
It's nice
mineral.
to say. I feel like if I ever had a cat, I would name it Magnesium.
Really?
Yeah, either Magnesium or Baba Ganoush. Those are my 2 choices.
Baba Ganoush is
Baba
pretty
Ganoush
fun.
is fun, but so is Magnesium. Magnesium! You're Magnesium! It's fun to say.
Oh, look, she's coming.
Oh, hey.
So it's now time for the Q&A. If you
Q&A.
have a question that has come up for you during these dietary sleep tips, you can drop that in the chat. And
Hopefully no one's fallen asleep.
well, that's a good point. Abby has a question.
Abby?
She says, what if you don't sleep 8 hours at night but take power naps? Same benefit?
Such a great question. Power naps, it depends on what your goals are, because for some people, naps can actually disrupt the process of sleeping in the nighttime. But naps can be an option if that is the way that your body works best. So if you are struggling with getting that full 8 hours and the way that you recuperate and gather more of that is getting naps, then that's definitely a great option. But the idea is to have that length of sleep throughout the night, because there's a whole process and pattern that happens where you're in light sleep and then deep sleep and then REM sleep, and all different kinds of things are happening, and you need that lengthy period of time. That being said, our ancestors very likely woke up for periods of hours during the night. So it's hard to say exactly what is right for each person, but how you feel and also your blood labs. You can often see differences in how your biomarkers or your laboratory results are when you get better sleep. So that's another way to determine if it's working for you. That's a great question, though. Thank you.
And one other comment I want to highlight is from Kathleen, who says, +1 on the magnesium glycinate. Works like a charm.
Hey, +1. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I have had very, very great success with magnesium, both with myself and with a number of patients past and present. So it's really helpful.
Cool. Okay, now it's time for a recap of the main course, part 1.
Recap! Try to avoid/minimize stimulants, alcohol, get 3 square meals a day, and get in your magnesium.
Mary.
Oh, is it over?
No, it's time for the weekly challenge.
Woo! Weekly challenge. I challenge you, my friends out there, to take one day this week, maybe 2 if you're feeling extraordinarily bold, and cut out the caffeine earlier than you normally would. See how you do. If you are struggling with sleep and you are drinking coffee at 8 o'clock at night, or even 4 o'clock at night, or even 2 o'clock in the afternoon, try stopping at 12 and just see what happens.
What's your cutoff time, Mary?
I said 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Sometimes I'll go a little bit beyond, but I don't want to talk about that.
Careful. Careful.
Oh, it's bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Now it's time for your main course, part 2.
Main course, part 2. Lifestyle strategies for better sleeps. The first one, I lost my numbers.
Yes.
I'm going to have to go old school again. Tip number 1. Light. Now, our circadian rhythms, which are our 24-hour waking and sleep cycles, are dictated by light. Yes. Very, very important. You wake up, there's light, your brain gets the message that it is time to be awake, and then in the nighttime, it gets dark, your brain gets the message that it is time to start going to sleep, and it produces melatonin, and hopefully that happens. Now, one of the things that we have been working with here in the States and all across the world is the use of electronics constantly. So those electronics, whether it's your iPad, your iPhone, your television, those all emit blue light. Now, blue light actually suppresses the production of that melatonin that helps you to fall asleep.
Mary.
Oh, sorry. There was so much light, I was feeling it. So it's really, really important to try to see if electronic exposure is one of the things that's having an impact on your sleeps. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to completely stop electronic use, but you can try to see what it's like to cut off your electronic watching time or screen time a couple hours before you go to bed, or you can download several different programs that help to reduce the blue light, and actually it becomes more of an amber light on your screen, and that can help your brain get the message again that it's not time to be awake, but it is time to go to sleep. Light is important throughout the whole day too, Keith.
Is it?
Yes, you need light, sunlight, real light first thing in the morning, because that again is what wakes you up. But then you need exposure to light throughout the day, because that continues to send the message to your brain that you are supposed to be awake. And one thing that can be really helpful is that as it gets towards that sleepy bedtime, work in lower lights. You don't have to have a candle, doesn't have to be Benjamin Franklin time, but this is a time for some of the lights to come down. Maybe you don't have all the lights on, maybe you just have the bedside light on, and see how that works. That can be a very nice off-ramp from your day and on-ramp into the quietude of your slumber.
You're making me think about those lights that people put in their kitchens, the daylight lights to wake people up in the morning.
Yeah, I think those are for waking people up, but also for giving them like mood uplifting lights.
Yeah,
I think they're more for that. I can't remember what they're called. I'm completely spacing it. Someone's gonna send a message to us. But that can be more about mood elevation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a link, mood, sleep.
Oh,
mood.
there definitely is. There's a lot of mood disorders that are connected with low sleep for sure.
What's point 2?
Point number 2 is this is about your bedtime routine, your sleep hygiene. What is that like? Are you stressed out at night or in general? And in fact, you can't talk about sleep without talking about stress, because stress is going to dictate how well you sleep or don't sleep. So examining that can be very, very vital. And examining where your stress levels are before you go to bed is also really helpful. Am I ramped up? Am I stressed out about the next day? Is that what is preventing you from going to sleep? Is that what is waking you up at night? Are those stress levels? That may be where you start working on things, is work on the stress, and the sleep patterns will improve. But what are you doing to wind down at night? Are you taking a hot bath? Are you listening to some music? Are you doing yoga? Are you meditating if that's something that works for you? Find something that helps your mind to begin to settle in, slow down, relax, and gradually tumble into slumber.
Oh, Mary. Wow.
And this is why it is key that you're not watching your favorite show at night for some of you, because it may be overstimulating. And again, the blue light from that television or from your iPad is preventing you potentially from falling asleep.
On both that note and the light note, Susan has chimed in saying that she just reduced the light on her computer screen watching you.
Hey, that's excellent.
Because she's in the it's 9:30 where she is.
That's right. Okay. Well, bless you for doing that. There is a program that you can do to actually get your computer to be nice and amber-esque all day long, which is called Flux. And it's justgetflux.com. I recommend it to everybody I know who works with electronics at night. I have it on my computer all the time, and if I do need to be on my computer, some nights it's just unavoidable. I definitely have that, and it helps.
What's point number 3?
Point number 3. This is about your sleep environment. So we talked about sleep hygiene and winding down, but are you even happy in your bedroom? Is it a sacred, calm environment? Do you like your sheets? Do you like your pillows? Is there enough comforters there? Are you sleeping in comfortable clothing? What's the temperature of your bedroom? Bodies fall asleep best at around 67 degrees. So you want to watch being too hot and you want to watch being too cold. So what is your sleeping environment like? Do you have a pet who is sleeping on top of your head? Is your partner snoring? Is your partner grabbing all the sheets? Is your partner kicking you?
What are you trying to say here, Mary?
Nothing.
Are you saying something?
I am saying nothing. It sounds like I'm saying something.
It sounds like you're saying something.
But I am not. I am not making. You are a wonderful partner in. You don't snore. Anyway, I'm not going to reveal too many other personal things about you, but this has nothing to do with you and everything to do with your partner, which might be your pet. So take a look at that, because very often having the kind of environment that sets you up for a nice sleep is really the key piece here. And maybe it's things that smell nice too. Maybe that's soft music. Maybe it's not having a clock that's blaring into your face all night long. Look at that and see if you can create a sacred sleeping spot.
That is helpful. And I'm just trying not to read between the lines here, Mary.
Well, I mean, you could say things about me as a sleeping partner as well.
Well,
I know I don't snore.
That's true. Sometimes there's some...
Sometimes I make noises because I probably am dreaming interesting things.
Yeah, that is true.
But, All right. Enough personal divulging. I already talked about my sleep issues. Let's move on to point number 4.
Please.
Exercise. Yes, exercise / physical activity, however you can get it, has been shown to improve sleeps. You may have noted this yourself. On the days that you exercise, or you take a long hike, or you lift weights, or you do a yoga class, you sleep better. Your muscles are more tired. Remember, when you are sleeping is the time for your body to repair. So if there's a lot of work to be done, you can be darn sure that your body's going to set you to sleep so it can do its work. So some kind of physical activity is really helpful for helping the body engage in better sleeping patterns. Please note, exercising right before bed, what do you think about that?
I'll bet it's not so good.
Not so good. You want to know why?
I do want to know why.
Because when we exercise, we get our adrenaline up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you might actually have higher levels of cortisol before bed if you are doing a hearty workout right before you go to sleep. Now, this doesn't apply to everybody, but again, we are trying to unearth why you might be having trouble sleeping. So if you are exercising right before you go to sleep, take a look at that and see if that's causing some of the issues. Yoga for some people actually helps them to sleep because it settles the mind, you're stretching, you're breathing, and that can set you up for a better night's sleep. But physical activity overall, great thing to include in your day. If you're not doing it now, get started right away.
Okay, That is most excellent, and it's now time for the Q&A. So feel free to drop a question in the chat over there or a comment. But I have a question, Mary.
Yes.
First, I always get to be first with the questions.
Please.
You've given so many tips, both dietary in part 1 and in part 2, the lifestyle tips, and there's so many different things I could try, and maybe I try them all at once. I don't know, but how do I know what's working and what's not?
Yeah, excellent question. First of all, you're going to try the thing that feels like the easiest thing for you to try because you'll do that. And perhaps the lowest hanging fruit, if you are drinking coffee at 8 p.m., that's probably a pretty good sign that that's having an impact on you. But how do you know it's working? One thing you can do, or how do you know what's not working, is keep a sleep journal. Write down, what did I eat today? Did I exercise? How was my sleep routine or wind down routine? Did I have alcohol? When was my last cup of coffee or caffeinated beverage? Write those things down and then mark down how you slept. And that is a way for you to correlate what you're doing during the day with how the quality of your sleep is at night.
Okay. A question has come in.
Please.
From Peter.
Peter.
Who asks, and this was, we talked about some dietary stuff on part 1. This question refers to that. If you take magnesium, is it advisable to take it before sleeping or just any time during the day, or basically when, I think is the question.
The advised time would be before you go to sleep. So
right before.
About an hour before, half an hour beforehand. Again, if we're trying to back off of the fluids right before bed, you might want to take it an hour before you go to sleep and then make sure that you go to the bathroom before you go to sleep finally and see how that goes. But magnesium throughout the day in general can be helpful, but hopefully you're getting it through your diet as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that question,
Thank you so
Peter.
much.
So, Mary, can you give us a recap of the main course, part 2?
Recap of lifestyle factors that you can modify to help improve your sleep. Make sure that your light exposure is appropriate, particularly reducing electronics in the evening hours. Make sure that you have some kind of a wind down routine and that your sleep environment is optimal for you and that you are engaging in some kind of physical activity to provide your body with more sleep success. Voila!
Voila! And now for your weekly nutrition challenge, or lifestyle challenge, as it were.
I challenge you, yes you, with that computer right in front of your face, because I know you're watching your computer right now because I'm on it. I challenge you to take 1 or 2 nights this week and get off of your electronics 3 hours before you tumble into bed.
3 hours?
3 hours.
Oh, that is
3 hours.
That is so long, Mary. 3 hours. Please.
3
Can we 2.5? 2?
If 2 is the only way that you'll do it, then do it for 2. But I say 3 hours.
Okay, if you accept the challenge, it's going to have to be 3 hours and see how that sleep goes.
1 night this week. You can't get off your electronics for 1 night this week for 3 hours before you go to bed?
Yeah, it's a very good point. 1 night.
1 night.
1 night.
There are 7 nights in the week. This is 1/7 of your week.
Hey, if you appreciate the show, you can help us out by subscribing to the Mary Purdy YouTube channel,
Yes.
or liking the Mary Purdy RD Facebook page if you haven't already, or subscribing to Mary's Nutrition Show podcast on iTunes. And we would love to hear from you and how it's going with the weekly challenge. You can let us know at in any of those places or at marypurdy.co. That's marypurdy.co. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for joining the conversation, all y'all. And thank you, Mary, for your wonderful information.
Thank you, Keith, for being a great bed partner.
So, wow, that can be taken in...
I am talking about sleep. Absolutely.
Okay.
This is very professional, Keith.
What are you saying about the other parts?
Oh my goodness.
Our new fall schedule is first and third Mondays of the month at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. That means our next live show will be Monday, October 2nd, and you'll definitely want to join us then. Why, Mary?
We will be talking about supplements, what you need to know and what you need to watch out for. Don't miss it.
All right. See you next time. Roll the credits. This show was produced by Keith Hitchcock and Hocus Focus Media.
This show is intended for information and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to replace or substitute professional health advice or care and should not be used for diagnosing or treating a health problem or disease. Please consult your physician before following any advice contained here or consult your registered dietitian. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have learned associated with this show. The opinions expressed on the show are exclusively those of Mary Purdy, the show staff, and guests and do not necessarily represent the views or policies of Arivale, Bastyr, Dietitians in Integrative and Functional Medicine, or other entities. Thank you so much. Nighty-night.
Nighty-night.